Have you ever found yourself feeling like you don't want to post on social media? You are doing it because you have to do it because it's your job, or you're finding yourself like you're so addicted that you can't even go like an hour without touching your phone, 30 minutes without looking at notifications, or you start to feel like you're a failure because somebody else is doing all these different things that are not happening in your life, or because, your account isn't growing the way you want it to grow, or you're finding yourself like the first thing you do in the morning is check social media. If that is you in any of those scenarios, then today's conversation is for you. So today we're talking about when to know that it's time to take a break from social media. Now, when I share this with you today, I'm sharing this from my own personal experience, as I always do, and as the experience of what I'm hearing my friends and business friends, kind of talk about in their own lives. First of all, I am curious, are you someone whom you make a post and you deem that the post, video, or whatever was successful by the amount of likes you got, the amount of comments you got, the amount of shares? Now, I'm raising my hand because I am guilty. I have definitely been one of those people that has determined that this post, this video is successful because it got so many likes. People love me. People support me. People are rooting for me because I got 200, 500, whatever many likes on this particular video. And when I have posted something and it was crickets, I have said, oh, this was not successful. Nobody likes it. And then I've had those moments where I said, nobody likes me. Everybody's mad at me. People are whatever with me. I have been guilty, of that. Also, have you been guilty of, checking your phone before you check in with your partner, checking your phone and checking all your social media before you go to the bathroom, before you pray, before you get your day started, before you exercise? I've been guilty of all of them. It's a bad habit. It's a really, really, really bad habit. And, here is one of the excuses that I kind of made. Well, I'm in a launch, and so I have to check these things because somebody may have a question. Something may be wrong. I need to tell my team so that they can hurry up and get this thing done. I've had these moments where I've said to myself, okay, should I take a social media break? And I had the moments where I said, well, I can't. That's how I make money. That's how I run my business. I can't take a break. I mean, I know it sounds kind of crazy, but that was my train of thinking for quite some time. And I still have those moments, don't get me wrong. And so I'm sharing all this to ask the questions of, are you experiencing any of this, or what are your things around, social media? The truth is that if you're experiencing one or all of these things, then I think that it's time to really evaluate what is actually happening with you and to you because of social media. I remember I saw the movie, I don't think it's called The Social Dilemma, it's called Social Something. And they talked about like the algorithms and how they are notifying people and trying to get them back on the platform, the way that they programmed it and all this type of stuff, and how we kind of spiral into something that was not their original intent. And, kind of as I watched this movie, I felt bad for the kid that was on the screen. I felt bad for some of the people that I know that quote unquote seem addicted to social media. But I really found myself feeling disconnected from like, oh, I'm not them. Like, I'm not like that. Oh, I am not that bad at all. But when I was honest with myself, I said, how many times did I pick up the phone in the last 2 hours while I was trying to watch this movie? How many times did I actually check social media? I was like, eesh. I mean, my phone was not down the entire time. I was checking my device and, getting these dopamine hits of likes and comments and, inbox messages and all that type of stuff. This is when you know that it's time to take a break from social media. But I started to ask myself this question. I wonder, is social media causing people to, at some point, be diagnosed ADHD? Or ADD. I'm not saying that is their actual diagnosis. I believe that doctors are good, that doctors mean well. Psychologists, psychiatrists, they all mean well. But I do think that sometimes people can be misdiagnosed. because a person doesn't go all the way to the root of a thing. I'll give an example. So like I have doctors that I go to about my personal like physical health. And one doctor said, okay, do this. And then the next doctor went a little bit deeper. And then my naturopathic doctor went a little bit deeper. And then I saw a video on YouTube and the guy was like, okay, all those people are right. Like he just labeled out, he was like, here's probably what you have heard through your journey. And like I had heard everything he said. He goes, but one thing that they're not saying is that a lot of this is associated with insulin and carbs and da 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 da. And as he started talking, I was just like in shock at like, okay, like I can see how A plus B equals C now. And he's like, yes, you need to do all the things that the doctors had said, but you also need to stop doing this over here. And that's going to help it. I mean, I was amazed. So my whole point is that I am curious if the amount of time and energy and then what we do in our lives on social media, I wonder if some of that is being like, if it's causing these like behaviors, like you can't sit still, like you have to be multitasking, you always have to be doing something, you're forgetting to do this, you're forgetting to do that, because it's like when you're on social media, there's always so much happening. And so then you're pulled in to make a decision to do one or the other, but you also know this other thing is happening. And when I really think about it, I'm like, how do I know that it's time to take a break from social media? It's when I don't feel like I can take a break. It's when I feel like I'm going to not make any money in my business. When I feel like that I'm going to miss out on something, that people are going to forget me, that I'm going to be irrelevant. You know, when I start just like putting stuff out there just to have something out, when I'm doing something, when I know I should just be resting and taking care of myself. And when I really start comparing my life to somebody else, you know, like I have had, oh my God, these moments where I've seen, and I'm a woman, so obviously, so I see these women who seem to have it all, very successful businesses, husbands, kids, traveling, you know, all these things. And I have these moments where I'm going, I'm not traveling as much. Not that I can't, but I'm not traveling as much. I don't have a husband. I don't have a kids. I don't own a home, all these things. And I'm like, oh man, I don't think I'm doing enough. I don't think I have enough. I think that I'm behind or whatever. You know, I have these moments and I have that, you know, it happens to me whenever I'm on social media and somebody's doing something that I haven't done or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I have those moments just like everybody. It's in those times when I've started going, okay, so it is true that this person is traveling, that this person is married, that this person has children, but you don't know the truth if everything is perfect. And even if it was, what does that have to do with me? I have moments where I go, okay, and they have children, but Keenya, do you want to have children right now? And I'm like, no, why not? Because you ain't married. I'm like, okay, right. I don't want to get kids right now. So how do you feel about getting married right now? Well, I'm open to it if I meet somebody. Okay, great. How do you feel about owning a home right now? Well, I don't want to own a home because there's a lot of responsibility that comes along with home ownership, and I don't want that responsibility right now. And I'm like, okay, so that's okay, right? Kenya, could you travel? Yeah. Could you go to the place where they went to? Yeah. But how do you feel about that? Oh, I could go if I want to. I just don't want to go right now. So basically what I'm saying is that if I can, I try to pick apart the thing that I'm jealous about, the thing that I'm comparing myself to, and deconstruct it and go, okay, but am I really jealous of it? Or is it something that's just in my face? And I'm like, most times it's just something that's just in my face. And so when those moments happen, I find myself going, I think I really need to take a step back from social media. And this is one of the reasons why I've been like, it's time to hire all the people. Like we are in the process of hiring somebody to manage Instagram, a different person to manage YouTube, a different person to manage LinkedIn, and a different person to manage Pinterest. Why? So that each person that specializes in what it is they do can go and kill it in that area. And all I need to be doing is giving them the content, and then I can interact with my people that comment, that DM. That way it's like, it's still a real me talking back to everybody, but I'm not on there scrolling and looking for stuff or having to post everything or just all that, right? That way I can actually go out and live my life. But I struggled with that. Like, how do I get away from social media? I'm like, oh, you get away from it by building a business, one, that is not 100% dependent upon social media, but also by hiring people to do the thing that's going to keep you from being on social media all day, every day. But I had to come to terms with like, what is my behavior? Oh, I get jealous when I see this. Or I feel like I'm not that good of a person if this doesn't happen. Or if people aren't commenting, aren't liking, if my videos aren't doing well, I start having these feelings, you know? That is how I know for me when it's time to take a break from social media. When do you know that it's time to take a break? And listening to this, do you know that it's actually time for you to take a break? Now, if you are realizing that you need to take a break, I'm not saying that you should go and post on social media and say, hey, I'm taking a social media break. Just take a break. The people that are in your life, they have your phone number. Like they know where you live. You know what I mean? You don't have to worry about them, you know? And that's the one thing I keep telling myself too, is like, hey, you know, everything's okay. No, you don't have to tell anybody anything. As long as the main people that need to know where you are at all times know what's going on with you, or not anything's wrong with you, but just like, no, you're fine and all that. Just go and take a break and do it for yourself, and not because people need to know that you're breaking or know why you're breaking, but just do it for yourself. I think one of the things that we all are going to experience is just how much life we're missing out on in real life when we are on social media. Having breaks from social media is definitely going to give us all that. I think it's going to give a lot of us a lot of peace of mind. I think it's going to help us to realize that we actually have a pretty good life, and that some of the lives of people that we see online, they are real, but they're not as perfect as they appear to us. And not that that person's trying to appear fake or whatever, but that just a reality that we have painted in our heads about this person's life. I think it's going to really help us, allow us to really connect to people just heart to heart. So, and if you realize that you need to take a break from social media, I hope you get one.